are back with World Crisis Radio. I want you to take a look at Tarpley.net, and one of the things you're going to see up there is a dispatch by the Italian national news agency ANSA, A-N-S-A. That's the equivalent of the Associated Press. It reports on an interview with me done by Stefania Limiti of the popular website Chiare Lettere. They've carried that website had an article talking to me about Libya previously. The subset of Chiare Lettere called Cado in Piedi. I land on my feet. Let's hope so. And this is now an ANSA dispatch. And wire service dispatch goes to Italy, Latin America, many other parts of the world. It's essentially me showing why credit default swaps should be banned. And we expect an interview within a day or two in a chain of newspapers in Italy, La Nazione of Florence, Il Resto del Carlino of Bologna, and Il Giorno of Milan, the newspaper founded by Enrico Mattei, the great patriot and exponent of European-African cooperation in the cause of development. Now let's look into the open letter, okay? Here's what I want you to do. Get the idea. I'm going to read it to you. It's brief. You want to print this out, mail it, fax it, email it, PDF it, whatever you want to do, to your congressmen and senators. And here's how it goes. This was issued yesterday. The American people are not interested in Obama's grand bargain or the plan of the Gang of Six, the Crapo Commission, which are cowardly and dishonest attacks on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, jobless benefits, and other vital programs. Cuts in these programs will not, repeat, not reduce the deficit, but they will kill Americans. Such cuts represent a veiled form of genocide. We want to save money by ending all the wars, all, including Obama's fiasco in Libya. We want to repeal the failed Bush tax cuts. We want to see Wall Street forced to pay their fair share through a Tobin tax or Wall Street sales tax of 1%, with half the proceeds kept by the U.S. Treasury and the other half distributed to the states to stabilize budgets and protect social services. We want the most toxic derivatives, including credit default swaps and collateralized debt obligations, banned outright, as they were from 1936 to 1982. We want a recovery and jobs program in the New Deal, Franklin D. Roosevelt tradition, all financed by 0% federal credit from a nationalized Federal Reserve. Reactionary Republicans and Tea Party fanatics must be fought, not appeased. As for the rating agencies, they should be on trial for their malfeasance of 2008, not dictating policy to the U.S. government. If Obama thinks he can get reelected by catering to Wall Street and by betraying his own base to pander to those morally confused, depraved independents, he will meet the fate of Jimmy Carter. Any Democrat who votes to weaken entitlements must expect to be primaried and ousted. We urge you to call McConnell's bluff and avoid the cataclysm of default by passing a clean bill to raise, or better yet, abolish the debt ceiling with no cuts to our hard-won New Deal and Great Society economic rights. Now, I sent that to my congressman here in Maryland, Congressman Van Hollen. He's the important guy. He's the House Minority Whip. You send it to your congressman, your senator. Put in other things as you feel important, but do something. You gotta get on the scoreboard now, because the deal is being concocted as we speak. Now, part of the drama of yesterday, right? It was a day of constant rumors, right? The darkling plane swept by confused alarms of new sellouts by Obama and new offensives by these bloodthirsty reactionaries who want to kill people. There's no other way. You want to shut down Medicare, that's murder, no doubt about it. So we had this interesting clash we have this guy, J.J. Lew, L-E-W, and his approach, let's call it the lewd plan, the legions of the lewd. So he went to talk to the Senate Democrats yesterday, Thursday, at a scheduled meeting. He's the budget director, right, OMB, to tell about Obama's most recent sellouts. And he's confronted by, of all people, the patrician John F. Kerry, but also by the working-class Senator Barbara Mikulski here of Maryland and Cantwell of Washington. They demanded that Lew explain what the president is doing. Now, these Dems, unfortunately, have come up with this shared sacrifice. We don't want shared sacrifice. We want Wall Street to pay for the crisis they've created. Nix shared sacrifice. No way. Not needed. It's been going all one way. Now, to redress it, we need sacrifice by finance oligarchs. They need to sacrifice. So Mikulski says she's not seen a meeting like this in 35 years in Congress. Apparently, lewd was under heavy attack because what he talked about was a program in which the genocidal cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid were spelled out in excruciating genocidal detail. But in terms of this other side, what these characters call shared sacrifice, the price to be paid by the finance oligarchs and the super rich was left very vague and delayed until the Greek kalends, right, meaning never. So this was not acceptable. So there was a backlash among these congressional types. Now, in the Senate, it's already volcanic. We're told volcanic in the rage against Obama. He's gone very, very far down the road, a complete preventive capitulation. And now we have people like Representative Elijah Cummings of Maryland, former chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus. He says, "It would concern me greatly if the Tea Party group have been able to convince the president to go along with a deal that basically gives them everything they want but still takes away from those who are most vulnerable." Well, that's what's going on. The people I'm talking about, when you're talking about Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and I'm sure they're all mixed up in here in this $3 trillion grand bargain, those are people, a lot of whom in my district, who have no alternatives. They're not the guys who own the planes. They're not the ones who fly off to Paris for a vacation. And then we have Representative Raul Grijalva, Democrat of Arizona. This is now the Progressive Caucus. We feel like the programs we care about are on the table. They're on the chopping block, Raul. The other side's priorities that the American public thinks should be dealt with, tax cuts and corporate subsidies, are not on the table. So maybe we're getting the beginnings of some kind of a revolt. But now, none of this means anything unless you feel the candidate to challenge Obama. Dump him. Back in a minute.